Tonight I'm going to give Windows Server 8 Beta a test on ESXi. A couple things I'll mention. You'll notice this is where we get the download. TechNet. I went with the ISO file. The other thing I should mention is that you need a patch. So ESXi in my case has already been patched. And how do we know that? Well, if we look here and you see the version 5.15.841, we know we're patched to a compatible level of VMware ESX. So let's get started. Right click on my ESXi host, say new virtual machine. Typical will be fine. And I have resource pools, so I have to click next after picking a pool. Okay, I've got an SSD with decent amount left, not a whole lot. Operating system. You'll notice Windows Server 8 does not show here yet, but stand by. You'll see it coming in a minute here. Just click next. The default one's fine. Default network adapter. And then finally, disk. I can thin provision. I can pretend it's 1 terabyte as long as I do thin. It's warning me about that overcommitment. And now I click finish. And at the bottom we see it finish creating the virtual machine. Now here's the weird thing. If we right click and look at settings, we'll notice on the options tab, we can pick an operating system, and at the very top of the list is Windows 8 Server. It was hidden there. Same thing with Windows 8 client code. So that's just how you do it. So now that's done. Now what are we missing? Well, a couple things. One is we have to mount the ISO. So that file I've downloaded, I used Veeam to stick it into the file store. So that large file we downloaded from Microsoft, we upload to a data store that's accessible to ESXi. And I use Veeam for a far better speed to do that. Next, I need to connect at power on to this data store file, which in my case is on my LSI RAID in a folder I call ISO. There it is. So we've got that mounted. I'm going to go for 2 CPUs. What else do we have here? Video, it won't let us do 3D support. I noticed on any of the server copies, even if I put auto on. Let's watch that. We'll let it make the changes. It finished making the tweaks. But even if we go back in, because we picked a server variant, we're not going to be getting arrow or the fancy graphics, and that's fine. I'm going to leave the graphics back at. I'm going to leave it there. Leave it on auto. Okay, what's next? Powering it up. Let's bring up a console in the biggest window I can fit here and try to record it. And let's power it up. Now it's just a straightforward install. Sorry, the video keeps jumping on me. No Vmware Tools, the mouse can be a little jumpy. So far, just 2 clicks. We're installing from an ISO and a pretty fast RAID array over to an SSD, so this should go fast. I want the GUI. Click Next. Very last sentence could say something like, I thought I was going to say you have no support for this. That's what the Windows 8 consumer preview had. Custom install because there is no files in the hard drive already. And the usual just click Next here. It'll provision NTFS, format, and install Windows for us. Okay, this part of the video I'm probably going to speed up by 10 times. I'm hitting Control-Alt to release my mouse from being hostage in that window. And muting video now, and here goes the speed up. Okay, I put audio back up, and we are in real time. And that was really quick. I think it's only been 3 minutes or something since I kicked off the install. I'll just mention with Server 2008, if you go with the VMXnet 3 optimized driver that comes with tools, I think you may have issues when you first boot because it assumes a network, so I think you're better off just going with E1000. Okay, here we go. Capital P ASSW0RD does still work. Okay, we're in. Click on the mouse and hit Control-Alt-Insert to issue Control-Alt-Delete to the virtual machine. Nice, we're in. And here's the top of the screen. So, error reports. Let's see if I can just get to the desktop and get a resolution going. More suited to recording video here. 720 is gone, just like they did with the Windows 8 product, but we can still find it in here. Comes in handy for recording 720p videos on, say, YouTube. Okay. So now I've got a nice screen resolution, perfectly recording what's going on the desktop. A couple things. I'll notice my time zone's off, but also, of course, I don't have Vmware Tools. So before we go any further, let's take a look at Device Manager and see how it looks on this very first boot. Not quite sure what just happened. Let's try that again. Right click, manage. Oh, okay. A totally different interface. I'm sorry. This is actually my very first time on this beta. So the install did not ask us much at all. I'm going to turn off internet time because I'm about to install VMware Tools. Alright, so we fixed the clock. And yeah, this product is wildly different. There we go. It's still there. There's Device Manager. Okay, so my display adapter, my mouse, all of that's generic. Now it's time to try to get VMware Tools to cooperate. We do guest, install VMware Tools. It complains because it's the wrong tools. I'm just curious if submitting an error report works in this beta. need to wait around for it. That was misguided of me. That was the VMware side popping that up. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Well, it's not so hard. I've got access to a network, and I'm going to go ahead and browse my network neighborhood and grab the VMware Tools. That's not really fair. Let's see. A better approach is to show you WinSCP. So I've got WinSCP running here, and I've logged into my ESXi host. Watch the mouse. And if we go into VM images, tools, ISO images, we can see we got Windows Tools. So from the latest patched version, I patched it today, of ESXi 5.0, patch 2, we get the latest VMware Tools. All we need to do is copy that somewhere to my local file system. Looks like I already had a copy of that. Make sure I have the latest one. Okay, so what's next? The next step would be getting that file into this virtual machine. Well, we can't do cut and paste unless we do remote desktop connection. I think that would be probably the easiest, most appropriate approach. Or browse network neighborhood. Okay, that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the file and copy it to a network share that this machine can also get to. Okay, so there's the file. And copy and paste. Okay, extremely fast. Done. Next, if we look at our desktop, you'll see we have the ISO file. So what are we going to do with it? Well, again, VMware Tools didn't install the normal way, so we're getting it to install this way, manually. If we right-click, Windows 8 has a mount utility. It appears Windows 8 Server Beta does not. So I hit my Windows key, and what I'm actually trying to do is get to help here. So I click on search. Okay, guess we're not going to be able to do that perhaps. I don't know. So Windows Server, like Windows 8, has this upper left corner to get to desktop thing. It's got right edge to get to the other controls thing. Just takes some getting used to. There we go. Okay, so mounting ISO is not so simple. So I'm going to have to use a tool on my local machine and extract the contents. Yep, didn't find anything. I'm curious what it's going to recommend. Okay, it's got safe browsing on by default, which is kind of good. Yeah, it's not working so well. Alright. So now I'm going to extract the files locally. In my case, I'm going to use a tool I'm used to. So if we look at my local file system here, So 7-zip did the trick. We now have a Windows folder. Okay, so that wasn't so bad. So here we are back in the virtual machine, and it's time to delete this ISO, which is kind of useless. And let's get tools installed the other way. Today's date and timestamp. I'm going to cut and paste. I don't need it on that target source anymore. Okay, so now we got a Windows folder. If we open it up, it's got the contents of the ISO. Relaunch auto run. That's just a paint file. So let's fix the views. So we got this new ribbon office-like thing. If you dig under options and change folders, luckily we're still able to go to view, hide extensions for known file types. One of the first things I do to any Windows. If we look at auto run, it's going to run setup.64, setup64.exe. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch the tools installer and see how this goes on the beta. I'm going to go the typical install and see how we do. Interesting time I'm seeing in the bottom, but that should be fixed once my time is synced with Vmware Tools with the host. Okay, so it changed my resolution because a video driver was touched and now it's rebooting. Get rid of that stuff. Okay, so when it comes back up, I'm going to log in, I'm going to change the resolution back again, and we'll see if the mouse control is smooth. This looks very much like Windows 8 consumer preview, so we're going to have to do a, oh, there's no sliding, sorry, Control-Alt-Insert. And we're in. And screen resolution. Perfect. So far the mouse feels pretty good. It does seamlessly move in and out of the window. So it seems I got the right driver stuff going on here. Gotta remember how to get to how do we get to start and run? Then I could just do comp mgmt.msc. Move my mouse to the bottom right, search comp mgmt.msc. That works. So here in Device Manager, okay, I didn't like the VMware accelerator driver, just like what happened with Windows. But it does work. This happened with Windows 8 consumer version. We have the option of uninstalling, and it goes back to the other driver. But notice it says WDDM is taken over, and the VMware driver is not installed. So I'm going to leave it alone. Microsoft. Go to details. Well, okay, I'm not so worried about that. I want to see processors look normal. Storage controller. This is a new Microsoft Storage Spaces controller. Interesting. Spaceport. Mouse. The mouse has a VMware driver. Okay. So it appears we're good to go there. If we look at VMware Tools, I will say the mouse feels a little jumpy, which is normal when the video driver is not optimized. Time sync between the hosts. Click apply. Let's watch the clock. Good. Okay. It appears Windows Server 8 testing is now kind of done. I'm going to go ahead and look at my IP stack. Look at what IP address I have. And then I'm going to remote desktop into this machine at 139. I suppose I could have remembered the host name. That would have been good. So let's do mstsc.exe locally. Brings that up. Let's just type that in. And if we look at our options, you'll see I've got display appropriately sized, good experience cranked up to everything in the highest. Let's connect. And we get nothing. So they've hardened it where the server will not respond to remote desktop connections by default. So let's fix that. I think we're supposed to start a dashboard. And okay, I'll learn that a little bit, or I'll just cheat for now. Computer settings, where do I find that? Oh, I know. Let's try this way, the old way. Right-click on computer and say properties, and go to remote settings. And it's off, and now it's fixed, it's on. And now with any luck, we should be able to get right in. That's better. We're in. Okay. Alright, in the following video I may play around with that driver, see if anything works differently, but you know the speed is absolutely fine on RDP, remote desktop, so I'm not complaining there. And I might even try to see if I can enable sound using the same techniques I used to do on Windows 2008, just because it can be convenient to hear beeps and warnings and so forth in a virtual machine. You know what, it's so quick to do it, I'm just going to tackle it now. Okay, so on Server 2008, this is what we do. Go to Services and start up Windows Audio. Let's do that first. Bottom right corner. Type in Windows, jump to Windows Audio, and let's set it to automatic and let's start it. Okay. What's next in the instructions? Next, go to Windows Audio Service. Okay, we did that. Now, Terminal Services. Right-click on RDP TCP, Client Settings, and turn on audio. Okay. Paste. Nothing matches. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm going to have to dig a little. So remote desktop was right there all along, right in front of me under local services. Could have turned it on easily there. But where are we going to do this function that seems to be gone? Maybe terminal services management is on a roll. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really want that, but I just want to see the next screen. Okay, so VPN tunneling, NAT, or remote desktop. So that looks promising. Session-based desktops for remote apps. Okay, looks like I'm about to get the management tools that I want. So much for super simple, but this might work. Okay, it insists on a restart. How do we restart? It's a good question. I'm embarrassed to admit I have absolutely no clue how to restart Windows. Control-Delete might be nice, but I'm on remote desktop connection. Is that going to work? Control-Insert. Do something else. That's not it. Okay, I'm going to cheat and use a tool I use. I'm going to trigger a reboot. I could have gone to a command line as well. Anyhow, I just want to trigger a reboot. I could have also done that here in the console view. Silly me, I should have just done that. All right. So whatever the reason, or whatever the ability, the way, we trigger a reboot. And now we're ready to continue and pick up with this step. So if that's in my clipboard, we're going to see if running that now works. We might actually get sound working. This is also just a decent way to kick the tires on Windows 8 and watch me struggle a little on my very first time in the server version. Oh dear. Oh, okay, I thought it was Windows Update. No, it's just reconfiguring the features. Control to insert. Username not cached or shown by default. Okay, bottom right corner. Click search. And type in that command, which is not coming out of my clipboard. So I will just type it. Of course, it's not going to come out of the clipboard. Alright, well, I picked the wrong one. Maybe licensing stuff. I don't know. There it is. Oh, tsmmc.msc. I wanted tsconfig.msc to work. Oh, boy. Let's just have another quick look around at some other features, and then I will conclude this half-hour recording of Windows 8 Server. So it's showing some stuff in red. Okay, interesting. So it's almost like Metro tiles showing on the server. Swiping the mouse doesn't do anything. You know, you're still grabbing slider bars, but remote desktop services. Wow. So unless I'm part of a domain, so we're back to this. So notice they don't use the word terminal services anymore, and that's probably kind of the mix-up here, or part of the mix-up. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go for it and turn all that on. I blew past this last time, see if I missed something. Telnet server, nope. Still don't see the word terminal services there, nor would I expect to. Wow, a lot of stuff. I'd like for it to just go ahead and install this stuff and then reboot when it's done. Let's have a look at how much storage I'm using. So if we look at my host here, we'll see I forgot to disconnect the CD-ROM drive, so let's do that now. And point somewhere else so it no longer shows that data store is involved. Once it cleans up, we have only one data store, the Kingston SSD. The Kingston SSD has this clearly named folder, and there's how much storage we're using up. Swap file, that equals the memory, 4 gig, and about 8 gig of disk so far. So it was probably 7 until I started fiddling with it, maybe around 8 to get started. It's not bad. Okay, looks like all that installed. Oh, it's still working. And in the end, I'm expecting it to just reboot. So, yeah, I'm pleased we can get this much of a look already at this product. This little notification flag reminds me of home server quite a bit. Get a little exclamation point, interesting. Okay, let's let it continue and see what happens. So when I'm saying home server, let me show you what I'm talking about. So does that look familiar? Some errors. A little different interface, but same idea. Okay, is this virtual machine doing anything useful? Is it CPU busy? I'm curious. Oh boy, even Task Manager is different, that's right. So here we go, the whole new Task Manager. Well, pretty cool. I do remember peeking at this on Windows 8, the first time I've looked at it here. Yeah, that's nice. I thought I gave this virtual machine 2 CPUs, so I'm a little confused there. Did I not give this VM 2 CPUs? 2. So this view collapses both CPUs onto one now? I don't know. Guess so. Alright, it feels like that install probably finished. If I close that, what happens? Not much. So it looks like I might have to be a domain user just to do RDP and get that sound turned on. I don't know, that seems a little crazy. So I guess this is sort of the equivalent of our control panel. There's our power button that I was looking for earlier. There's notifications that I was, oh, okay, turn them off. See if we can get the old control panel. We sure can. That's cool. PC info is what, MS Info 32? Nope. Just that screen. Okay, beta data center. Interesting. Just noticed that. Okay. Hey, look at that. There was a window trying to get my attention in the back. That good old problem is still there. And there's my version. Expires in about a year, 11 months. Okay. Let's see what this asks me. Okay, another reboot. Maybe I'm there. I don't know. Okay, looks like we just saw the forcible restart thing. Still lives on. Not that different than current crop of Windows clients and servers. I'm in. Eager to try. Start, run, tsconfig.msc. Nothing. That's unfortunate. Components are, where could it be? Where could it be? So is there an administrative task folder like there used to be? Remote access management. Sounds promising. And a little slow to start. Okay, well, that was a failure. Oh, that interface takes some getting used to. Okay, we got a little pop out sides. Oh, it's not bad. You can still grab those lines. Okay. It's alright. Almost a metro looking thing here too with the giant rectangles. Storage pools definitely interest me. Can't even type it. Let's see what happens. Do I have to add a second drive? Let's add an extra hard drive to it. No need to reboot. 40 gig, thin provisioned, store at the virtual machine sounds good. Go to volumes. We can see this new unknown. I'm a little confused. What am I looking at here? C drive, 1 terabyte, 11.8 gig used. Okay. What is this one? 350 meg. Okay, well, what about plain old storage manager that I used to know where it was? I'm gonna resort to comp ngmt.msc again. Let's try that. And now, disk management. There's the 40 gig that needs to be initialized, so that's good. Okay, bringing it online is the same thing as initializing, I guess. No, it isn't. GUID or MBR, okay. This stuff looks exactly the same. Alright, now can we go back to this storage spaces stuff? Can't close that because I've got this opened. Okay. Let's go back and try this. $350 meg, I still don't know what that is. If we look at device manager under disks, we only have 2 disks. So yeah, I don't know what the heck that is. Storage pool. We have a primordial storage pool. And we can't create a new one. There we go. It's working. Alright. Well, that's enough of this test drive. Time to speed up parts of this video and upload it and call it a day. Yeah, maybe I'll try 1 or 2 other things a little later on or tomorrow. Thank you for watching.